Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today is June 24th, 2019. Here to give you all the news according to the charts. We're going to go ahead and talk about Aurora Cannabis and what 3 things that can boost Aurora stock. Okay, we're going to look at this article written by Keith Spates of The Motley Fool, and to see if these potential situations can cause Aurora Cannabis to move higher in price. Thank you all for coming to our channel. For those who are new, I definitely want to remind you all to like, share these videos, and hit that subscribe button, as long as that bell notification, that icon that you see. Click there so you all may become notified of when we upload our relatively easy to understand content according to the price chart. We're giving you all the news according to the charts, because we are under the presumption that that is where the truth lies. Okay, articles, television, videos, they try to persuade you to think a certain way, to get you to do a certain thing, when in fact the price chart does not do that. Check us out on our website as well, HueFinancial.com, in order to get more of our news releases, press releases, breaking news, and as well as anything else that we see pertaining to the charts regarding these financial instruments. So now, this article on my left side of my screen was written yesterday, June 23rd, 2019, talking about Aurora Cannabis and 3 things that could boost the stock higher in price. You can see on my right side the price chart that we've been using, referencing the expectations of what we expect Aurora Cannabis to do. You can see right now that we expected it to move lower, and we have achieved our objective on that. And now we need to see whether or not Aurora Cannabis is going to follow what Keith expects. These 3 things can cause Aurora Cannabis to move higher. So now, the Canadian marijuana stock more than doubled by the middle of March, and since then, you guys can tell on the chart that Aurora has been weak, and it has been giving up roughly half of its gain that it saw during the month of March. Well, I would say literally that started in the beginning of 2019. Now, it's also possible that Aurora could surpass its peak share price from a few months ago if the right scenarios unfold. So 2 simple letters, 1 small word that can have big consequences. If. So there's 3 things that Keith is going to bring up that could cause Aurora Cannabis to move higher. The first is landing a big partnership. Okay, Cannabis Growth has teamed up with Constellation Brands. Cronos has teamed up with tobacco giant Altria. Tilray has partnered with Anheuser-Busch InBev and drug maker Novartis. And Hexo has joined or partnered with another beer company called Molson Coors. But Aurora Cannabis has been left out. Now in March, they did bring on a billionaire investor named Nelson Peltz to the board to try to help them find a partner. By Aurora Cannabis bringing that gentleman to the board, it should allow them to expand their horizons regarding picking up a partner, because according to this article, Peltz has very strong connections in the consumer packaged goods industry. If the company, talking about Aurora Cannabis, changed its tune and found a large partner willing to make that big investment in them, then accordingly, there's no doubt that Aurora Cannabis would boost to higher prices. None at all. Because those previous companies that I just talked about, Cannabis Growth, Cronos, Tilray, Hexo, once they disclosed the fact that they had a partner, their stock shot up as well. So it's under a safe presumption that once Aurora Cannabis does the same thing, that their stock will shoot higher too. So that's the first scenario that has to play out that could see Aurora cannabis move higher in price? The second one would be a major move into the U.S. hemp CBD market. Okay. Now, it gives us an example of that because Cannabis Growth is building a large-scale hemp production facility in New York. Tilray acquired a top hemp food company, Manitoba Harvest, whose products are sold at thousands of U.S. retail locations. Now, Cam Batley, he's the chief corporate officer. He told the Business Insider in January that the company will be giving out a strategy regarding their CBD to enter the United States market over the next few months. Now, that was in January. Here we are in June. 5 months passed and they still have not relinquished that strategy as to how Aurora Cannabis is going to be coming into the United States. It seemingly seems as if they're waiting on something to be passed before that strategy comes out. Now, should Aurora announce that it's entering the US CBD market in a smart and meaningful way, Keith thinks that the stock will take off. So that's the second one. Now, the third one is significant progress on US legalization of pot. Now, hemp is legal in the United States at the federal level. Marijuana isn't. As that continues to be the case, and as long as it remains the case, Aurora won't be able to jump into the US marijuana market and keep its listings on the New York Stock Exchange as well as the TXE, the Toronto Stock Exchange. If significant progress is made toward changing US laws about pot, most, if not all, marijuana stocks will get a huge boost to the upside. So this is inclusive of all cannabis companies. Now, at the end of this article, Keith goes ahead and rates the odds of those three things occurring. He gives the first one, Aurora Cannabis landing a major partner, about 80%. Second one, will Aurora enter the hemp market in the United States? About 75%. Lastly, the third one, changing the federal marijuana laws, no more than 10%. Okay, so if his probabilities are anywhere close to being right, Aurora has a really good shot at benefiting from 2 out of the 3 of the potential catalysts in a relatively near future. And if he's right, Aurora Cannabis stock could soon skyrocket. So this is an article that is trying to give you some inclinations as to what could cause Aurora Cannabis to move higher. All hypotheticals, because currently when you look at the price chart for Aurora Cannabis, as he stated in the beginning of his article, it's weak. The market in Aurora Cannabis is weak, but when I zoom out on the weekly time frame, the overall trend of this stock is still one of a higher trend. Okay, this is your overall gauge in our price chart as to the overall strength of Aurora Cannabis for the long term. We're just going through a minor weakness phase of which this stock is moving lower. Now you can tell on our price chart that we expected it to happen. Okay, from our video that we did on the 31st of May, expecting Aurora Cannabis to move lower, and you can see when we created our price target right here, the 31st, that the market in Aurora Cannabis has finally came to the bottom portion of our price target. So it did hit it right here on the 21st of June. So we already knew that the market in Aurora Cannabis was weak, and it happened on that Friday. So would have made 7.64% profit in that particular simulated trade. Don't let no one tell you that you can't predict where prices are likely to go. Now, this is another example of us doing just that. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get rid of it because it has obtained our price target. And now the question is, from that article, can we see a continuation of move higher? And that is an emphatic yes. But the only thing that you need to understand and many people need to know, is that you got to determine when that's going to be the case. All right. So looking here at the weekly chart for Aurora Cannabis, the market is still giving us a little bit more weakness. But albeit, I would tell you that it is not that weak. Okay. The market has already came and touched a pretty good support area around $7. But if the weakness continues to be ensued, then 650 is going to be the next area in the market for Aurora Cannabis, and then $6. Okay. The last 3 or 4 weeks in the market on the weekly time frame for Aurora Cannabis, we're still seeing indications that the market is not ready for higher prices. That is right now. Monthly time frame as well, we're still seeing some indications of weakness coming through. We got 6 more days before that particular price chart concludes, and if we're close towards the high of this monthly bar in Aurora Cannabis, then my analysis will have to change over from one of weakness to one of strength and movement higher. Okay, so there's a 6-day time frame between the market and Aurora Cannabis finishing this monthly price bar. I'm telling you now, if we close above towards the high end of this monthly price bar, then Aurora Cannabis is anticipated to move higher. Now you can see right now as I'm recording, it is not giving us that. Okay, so it tells me that the weakness is still present. Again, not that weak though. Real quick look at it on the daily time frame. We can see some minor strength coming in on a daily basis, meaning that resistance, it can come up to around 750 as resistance, maybe even right there around $7.75. Okay, the volume definitely came in on that last Friday, which is one reason why we can see a continuation of move to the upside in Aurora Cannabis. 3-hour chart is giving us that. So yes, the short-term anticipation in Aurora Cannabis is anticipated for it to move higher. All right, 740, 750 will be the first initial area to expect some stockpile to come into the market, and then after that we will have to readdress to see if we're going to continue to see lower prices. All right, so all in all, I'm still expecting in the long term the market in Aurora Cannabis to move to the downside according to the price chart, but I'm not looking like a dramatic movement lower. Okay, the next area will be around 650. Just go ahead and put that there. And we're going to, what we say, 650. So that's like another 13% move to the downside from where we are today. Now again, I might have to come in and do a different video over the next 6 days, especially if I see the market in Aurora Cannabis close above on this monthly price bar right here. Okay, so understand that I might have to come in and readdress the original analysis of us expecting the market in Aurora Cannabis to move to the downside. Okay, I do like it holding $7 though. So that's why we can see a movement to the upside, but until I get a little bit more indications of strength coming into the market on the monthly, the weekly, and then again on the daily, I will be expecting the market to try to give us another push back down to the downside around that $6.50 price. Okay, give us your thoughts, give us your opinion about the article, about what the price chart is showing us currently, and do you think the market is going to move higher from where we are right now to higher prices, or do you think we still got a little bit lower to go to the downside? Check us out on our website, HueFinancial.com, in order to get more of this fantastic price movement forecast, because you're not going to get it anywhere else the simplistic way that we're giving it to you. Make sure y'all maintain profitability, and I will talk to you all later.